I know we're very keen. Too late. You can refresh it. No cheating.
Let's go.
This is.
Oh, that's how it works. I got it.
Good listening, Chris.
Thank you very much.
Right.
That is brilliant.
Are we on?
Is it looking
Yeah, we're on.
Alright. So just for the video sake, we didn't start recording for the first 2-3 minutes, so we just did learning intentions, and now we just literally moved to this slide. Everyone's just copied this link here, and they've got it in pairs on their laptop. So Liam, you're gonna go through and show us an example.
Right, so we're doing a map activity. This is a map of...
So everyone just watching, thank you.
So this is a map of modern Europe. This is a map of Europe in 1914, or when the World War I began. So what's asking us right now is we're going to guess what country is what. So this is asking me to click on Russia. So imagine I don't know what Russia is, so I'll click here, and it will tell me that I got it wrong and what the country I clicked on was. I'm like, all right, maybe it's Russia's this one, and no, that's wrong as well. Again, I'll get it wrong one more time, and there we are.
So 3 times you got it wrong,
And you can click on
and
that.
it turns red because it's like you just didn't get it. Alright, so that's a bit of feedback for you, a bit of visual feedback. Next one.
Romania. So let's try clicking here. Oh, that we got that right. Then you can see that this is in white now, and it'll go like that as you click more and more. I don't want to give away all the answers for you. I think it's fairly straightforward.
And if you get a second try, it'll turn yellow.
Yeah.
So a bit of feedback for you. See how many white ones you can get?
Try and
But
get
completely
perfect
okay. It's a learning tool. Alright, you got a couple minutes, 3 minutes to do that. And just once you've done it, just leave it up, don't restart. Oh, man. Oh, no way.
Some of the countries don't exist now. So the Ottoman Empire, for instance, we call that a different country now.
Well done. The east and the west, but the centre is. So you got your score. Once you got your score up, just wow. Sit tight.
Hands up if you've got your score up.
We still got a couple. I think we
Couple.
got.
Got it.
I noticed we weren't in pairs. You're just really hungry to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, no, we did that one.
Is that all right? Finish it?
No, I'm finished.
Okay, everyone's finished. We'll just no.
Not yet.
Nah, it's okay.
Absolutely no way.
Right, 30 seconds. We'll put the time pressure straight on. Yeah. Look at the clock. Alright.
There we are.
Let us know know once we got it. Very cool. So, I was just going around the classroom. I could see that we were all actually at Bailey. Oh, it's exploding. Thank you. I could see that we're all at different levels and understanding from our lesson, which was a few weeks back now. So, do a little recap. So, what we're going to do, I want you all close your eyes. Hands up if you got above 50%. Good. Hands up if you got above 60%. Hands up above 70, 80, 90, 91. Very good. 95. And awesome. Eyes open. That was, I could see, like I mentioned before, we're all at, I guess, different levels. Did you find that activity helpful in any ways? There was a few countries that we maybe didn't know
We've got the
where,
answers up
where
here
they were.
too. Yeah.
Go for it.
And so we've got a few of the answers up here too. So some of them would be confusing, I guess, because I think some didn't know what the Ottoman Empire was, and that's okay because it's not a country that exists anymore. So it's a bit hard to see in your everyday lives. But we're not covering it right now. But the Ottoman Empire was a very, very important player during the time of the war itself, too. So what we're going to do now is we're handing out a worksheet right now with a map on it. And we've just done a game of guessing. We've just done a game of guessing the countries, but we've got them up right now. And
Everyone close your laptops now as well. We don't need anyone.
Yeah. What we're doing is we're going to label the countries on here. And we're also going to describe the process of how the war began. And we're going to explain right from how the war began in Austria-Hungary. I'm going to explain how that led to trench warfare along here, along Germany, Belgium, near to Switzerland, and through France as well.
Yeah, so going through labeling all the countries, this is a resource that you'll have. I'll put it back on.
How much? This is gonna be good. So to begin, do we remember what happened over in Austria-Hungary, around here?
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone
Do you
killed
say
someone.
about it? Yes. It was a Serbian man. He went to Austria-Hungary, and he, vying for a sort of independence, decided to shoot the Archduke, which is like the prince, because this is the time of kings and princes, of Austria-Hungary. So we have Serbia, let's draw that. Serbia shoots the Archduke here. We'll draw that on the board here. And maybe you can do a little doodle yourself. So, we explained this a little bit last time, but obviously Austria-Hungary was not very pleased about that at all, in any case. So what they decided was, alright, we declare war on you, Serbia, because we don't like that you killed, that one of your residents has killed our prince here. Serbia's in a bit of trouble because Austria-Hungary's a much bigger country than Serbia. But there's a little country called the Russian Empire, which is a bit bigger than even Russia now. And they're friends with Serbia. And Russia doesn't like to see Austria push other countries around. So what Russia decides in 1914, after the Archduke got shot, is that they will declare war on Hungary. So if we want to, there's an instruction on your piece of paper that says, draw a little number next to it. So this is like the first declaration of war. So we'll write that with a small 1 next to it. And over here, do another arrow. And we'll write a little number 2 next to it. 2.
everyone following along?
Yeah, am I going too fast? If that's okay. If you can just copy the arrows, that would be very good as well. Now, Russia has declared war on Austria-Hungary. And Austria-Hungary is in a bit of trouble because, well, look at this. But the German Empire at the time, they want a bit of land from Russia, and they're also friends with Austria-Hungary. And they think, no, we can beat Russia. I think we can beat Russia if we attack right now. So, actually, I declare war on Russia. So we'll put that, an arrow here, number 3. And now, so suddenly, Russia has to fight Austria-Hungary and the German Empire. Because Austria decided to declare war on Serbia, Russia decided to declare war on Austria, therefore the Germans declare war on Russia. Now, that means the Germans have to fight Russia over here. That's going to be danger, it's going to be trouble. Now France, meanwhile, they've recently lost a war with Germany and they're not happy with Germany. They took a lot of land out here and they want it back. So, well, they took a lot of land over here and now they want that back. So while Germany is fighting Russia, France thinks it's a good idea to attack now, and then they declare war on the German Empire. So we'll do that and a number 4. And we've got all these things going on at once just because of one assassination.
Are we all writing down the numbers? Yeah? Yeah.
Why did Franz Ferdinand get murdered? What's the point of that?
The point of that was he was doing a parade. That parade happened to be on a national holiday about Serbia, and it was happening near the area as well. Therefore, it was seen as disrespectful, and because its route was published in advance, it was thought that, hey, let's kill him while he's disrespecting us while we have the chance. It was a point of radicals doing it. But it was Serbian radicals.
Yep, cool. And we're just very much generalizing this information.
we're
These are,
going over very
this
quickly.
is like
a half an hour lesson.
There's a lot of countries involved. So if you have any background in any of these countries, we're not trying to offend you. We're just trying to go through a quick, like arrow version of the events, the domino effect, and the chess pieces that are moving as such.
So Germany right now, they have 2 big problems. One of them is fighting Russia, the other one's fighting France. Now, Russia is a really big country, and it's not all that connected in terms of trains and everything. So Russia's going to take a lot of time to get ready because that's what they do. They're a bit slow. The German thinks, all right, we can defeat both of them, but only if we fight France first, and then Russia. Because we could defeat France quickly, and then we could focus everything on Russia. So Germany needs to defeat France as soon as possible. That's number 1 agenda. But there's lots of defences all around the border here, and they don't want to waste any time going through defences because they're on a time crunch. So what they decided to do is go around these defences and invade through Belgium.
This is the part we're really focusing on here as well.
Yeah.
So imagine the German Empire. Belgium's they're not really involved in the war at this stage, and they're wanting to rally all their troops through a country.
Hundreds of thousands of troops all through one country. They can't be neutral if they're letting troops go past.
Yeah.
So therefore, they have to invade Belgium, and Belgium's attacked. Now, the British Empire, they don't like the look of this. Germany's invading neutral countries. So now they've decided to declare war on Germany, and that'll be our 5th arrow here. Let's fix that one. Our 5th one here. And can we guess who's friends with the British Empire? US, sort of friends, but not fully yet. They're very different countries, but Australia, definitely us. We were part of the same empire as Britain at the time. So because Britain decided to declare war on Germany, so do we. Because a man got shot here, we're sending some Australian troops, over to fight here. And that's what happens during the war. Now Germany invade through Belgium and into France, and they get pretty far in. And they're within the sights of Paris. And when that happens, France has to go all out, otherwise they just lose straight away. So they start pushing Germany back, and Germany, they don't want to lose any ground because they made a lot of progress so far. So they start digging in. They start digging into the ground so they can avoid fire. And eventually France does the same. And eventually we have trench systems, and this is a rough line. We leave the trench systems running all the way from up here down to, so from the top of the coast in Belgium, all the way down to the borders of Germany and in near Switzerland. And this is where we're going to focus most of our lesson.
Yeah, so we had like you can see it's a big chain of events. This is just to continue to get our mind understanding, but this part here is what we're going to focus on now, of how these trenches actually occurred, and the reasoning behind them. So we'll go to the next slide. We're going to just skip this. We're actually going to talk about quickly, so we're going to an activity, just some of the weapons that were involved in the war. So we're going to understand how the battle actually occurred. We've got to understand the weapons that we used. So, top one here. I know it's all blurry. I'm not sure why this has happened.
Yeah.
We got a rifle, so it's quite a large gun, and that would fire one bullet at a time, and then they'd have to reload it. Who knows what a bayonet is? Anyone? You people? What is it here?
Weapon on the end of the gun, as you can see there, that knife.
Correct. So on their rifles, they attach bayonets in front. So at close combat, they could stab someone. Pistols, just a small gun. They'll shoot it like that. More close range. Machine guns. These are quite a big invention. Alright, only recently, 20, 30 years before the war, roughly that, machine guns were invented. Before that, rifles, and it was really just pistols, so just one bullet at a
We're
time.
able to just spread like we
Correct.
used to.
And these would just keep going, like pretty crazy. Artillery, big gun shells, big bullets firing, and could quite easily inflict a lot of damage to a group.
Almost like a cannon, it'd leave craters wherever they hit.
Yeah.
They're very, very powerful
I think
guns.
almost.
Yeah, almost not.
And barbed wire. So with that being said, we're gonna stand up. We're just gonna like push these chairs and these tables just back to around here.
We want to clear a space over here.
Now I'm really excited for this part. See how it goes. So, just push these back. I'm just going to set the scene of a bit of a role play, a bit of a drama experience to help us. Can we all just listen? I know it's the end of the day. It should be pretty fun if we get to it. So, what do you imagine? We are on a nice, big green sort of grassland, right? And on this grassland, we got the France, and we got also the Allies come joining in, as Liam was saying. So we got Belgium, and then we got the UK as well. And on the other side, we got Germany. So what I'm going to do, Bailey, just come this side. You're over here. You're the German Empire. Okay, so be strong in that. That's who you are today. You all over here. You are, UK, Belgium, and you're also France as well. So go get in a nice little huddle. Cool. Right. So currently, we have. Imagine the two armies. You're both starting to walk towards each other, right? And you have what weapons? Do we remember? Pistol, bayonet, Barbed wire, yeah, well, that's fun. Barbed wire, what's the big one? Artillery and machine guns. So, here we go to the next one. Who's played Fortnite here? I know it's you nice, Bailey. I hear you at recess and lunch all the time. You get wins all the time at night, is that right? Yeah. Victory Royale. Go back. So when we play Fortnite, what's a really important thing that we have to do to survive?
Oh yeah, you gotta take a good ground, you gotta climb the zone.
Yeah. Take good ground. Get the high ground. Yeah. Star Wars reference in there. All right. Is there anything? What do you do? What do you have to? Do you have to build anything?
Yeah, walls.
Build walls. Why do they build walls and forts?
So you can stand there without anyone seeing you or getting shot at.
Correct. So you can protect yourselves. All right. So if we're standing out on a big brass plane and we have these whopping cool big machine guns, do you think you could just quite easily spray and just whip through an entire army? Yeah, and vice versa. So lots of casualties can take place. So because of that, the German Empire, they were like, oh, we don't want to die, we want to take a defensive position. So what did they do, Liam? Well, what do we think they built a wall? Close. I like the idea. Yes, they built into the ground. So they're on this, there's not really much they have. So they use the ground as their protection, and they dug down and built a trench. So we go here. Alright. So what's going to happen? Germany, you're over here. We're going to build a little trench. Now, we were going to do it with tables. Tables didn't work very well, so you're just going to do a line of chairs for me. So quickly, just grab some chairs, one of you, and just sort of stack them next to each other. Not stack them, place them next to each other.
So you're digging with a shovel to make this.
Like so.
Making an underground wall.
Yeah, so just imagine this is a underground wall. Alright. And I'm going to get Kelly.
Yeah.
You're going to be a demonstration, and Ben, you can be a demonstration as well. Alright. So, the rule is, you got 6 shots. No running. You'll be somewhat stationary. Okay? Kelly, you're going to use this. Ben, or I should say UK, France, and Belgium. If you shoot under here, you can't. It doesn't count. He's undercover there. So you've got to get nice and low. That's right. All right. Ben, take on Kelly right now. Away. Alright.
Well done.
Very good. I don't know how well they work, but give a round of applause. I'll take it back.
Actually, very good skill.
Now, I know that's not what we actually wanted to demonstrate in this because Ben's part of the elite of the elite squad room. And he managed to run, Well, so the ranges between the trenches it's actually around 20 metres minimum to even somewhat around 250 metres. So quite a large distance. So in this scenario, we would say, who would win the battle? If Germany dug down, who would win? Germany would win, correct. Okay, and that means France, UK, and Belgium took a lot of casualties. Okay, so what are you going to do? Huddle together. Well, actually, you don't even need to huddle. Just pretend you just lost. What are you going to do? Ben, what's that signal mean? Dig a trench. Alright, so quickly, dig a trench. Dig a trench. Who would like to volunteer on this side? There we are. Haley. you know, obviously we said what happens to France? You lose, lots of casualties. Obviously Germany, yeah, we got a bit of a win. In this position we discussed, as Ben said, to dig down because they have to defend themselves as well. So we're up to the next part. You got it? Alright, so you've now built both trenches. Alright, we're just gonna get down. So Hugh, you're the army of France, UK, Belgium.
Get him, Hugh.
Haley, get down. Alright, we're gonna see what happens. Alright, ready, fight.
Go, Haley.
Get him!
Working
That
the
is
defense.
a last shot. Very good. Now, that, you know, reality was that could have happened potentially. It wasn't as frequent. Okay, so Ben, put the gun down for me. I know it's very tempting, and you put it down as well. But you can see, alright, that they were just, if they just stayed down. Imagine if you was literally down, like right there. You know, no bullets. The trench is a bit higher, so the bullets aren't just going to drop on you necessarily like that. There were the artillery guns that could have potentially done that and still made a bit of damage, but the reality was they were more protected than standing up. So what you potentially have is what? A stalemate. Who knows what a stalemate is? So nothing happens? Yeah. So you're both sort of stuck. Alright, so essentially what happened at the war, there was this period where they were both stuck. And Liam, I don't know if you want to...
Yeah, so there was a period where you're either just both stuck, where you can't exactly hit each other without seriously endangering yourself. So you sitting back here, we can't really hit the other side, and neither can the other side really hit us from behind our defences we've made. So, but we can't have a war where nothing happens, because no one wins. And in a war, what both sides want is to win. So what would be done is...
Let's get your team, you're in a hut, like your country, together, or a couple. You're going to huddle together. What are you going to do? You're going to huddle together. What are you going to do? There's a bit of stalemate.
Nothing is happening.
Nothing's happening. What's going to happen?
What kind of things are you going to do?
Throw a ball. Volunteers tribute dash. 25-minute dash. 25-minute dash, Bailey. All over it. Here's the side step. I start playing some elbow. Sleeping is just fall asleep. Just creep over there. And then take all their guns and they wake up.
I love just getting involved in the lesson. You're engaged already. You're not even in the lesson.
I play sleeping music and go over and steal their guns. But not kill them, just like wait for them to just like
throw a bomb. Just throw a bomb over, get some height.
They got tennis rackets on.
God damn it.
Just throw it.
Lost Tennessee got A. Like badminton with a stew, like ping pong.
Let's put it back. Alright, Liam, what is this group?
So, what did you want to say for yourself?
You know, like cognitive symptoms.
Oh, we just said like,
Gonna start yourself.
try and sneak behind them or like dig the trench underneath.
Does that sound similar to this group? Yeah? I think that sounds pretty similar to
Just trying to dig around there, trying to get around the defences. Both of you have said that.
Yeah.
That's what both sides actually did during the
Really
war.
cool.
Both France and Germany, they decided, right, dug ourselves in. Maybe if we can dig around them, we can win. So they both tried digging around, but they're both doing it. And so what happens, they just made the lines, instead of going around, they just made the lines longer. And they made them longer and longer until they were thousands of kilometres long, all the way from the top of Belgium, in the beaches near Belgium, all the way to the coast, to the border of a neutral country, Switzerland. Thousands of kilometres of trenches because we've just tried to check around and we've made a complete, impossible stalemate.
Alright, so
Boys, we're probably going to have to finish it there because, if that's all right.
show one video quickly?
No. Showing a video is not going to add to what you've done. It's been great.
I was
You
just
can
trying to
share
show
that.
the kamikaze
Of
of what actually
what
happened
actually
when they
happened.
started running.
Perhaps we'll just leave that on pause, and if people want to see it when we finish, they can.
Sure.
Yeah. So after we've done the feedback and that, but I'm just conscious that we're actually at 4 minutes to 3, and I need to go through what you're going to do for the next lesson. So when we because we had to push the last one in. So sorry, Bailey, that we are going to have to put it in there. But well done. Well, I'm really glad that the other class actually got to come into this last part of it, because what I've been saying to them is that I'm talking about you all trying to take some risks and try some things that may or may not work. And this is the perfect example of them taking a risk, trying something really different. This is the space to do it. Don't sit with staying safe and doing what you would normally do, because you know that can go along okay. You've all done your first placement. You know that you can get through a placement and you can teach well enough. Okay? What we're trying to do here is get you to experiment and try things that, these guys came in and right away they're like, oh, what's going on here? Okay? And then when you ask them to work out what they would do to battle, they started talking about what they would do. So they're already actively involved in the lesson. Big tick, engagement, okay, is huge, and that's a huge part of it. And if you don't take some risks with your teaching, you won't engage the students, okay? They will just go along doing the same thing all the time, okay? Of course students are going to be wanting to get up and moving, and each one of these lessons there's been a lot of movement in the classroom. Limited movement in the classroom, okay? You've got to get these students up and moving and doing things. That's what you want to do, so of course that's what your students are going to want to do, okay? So, was it completely successful? No, it wasn't. But that doesn't matter, because you now can work out, all right, I've got, a whole pile of people, because this would be equivalent of your whole class. So what are you going to do with everyone? Okay? How are they all going to get involved? Okay, so you've got the basis now to really build on this and think about how you could make it work. Perhaps you, instead of Bailey very excitedly and very well, you gave a really interesting scenario that everybody was buying into and still set the scene, but perhaps have some of the information and prompts with the groups for them to go, all right, we've got to figure this out. And this is and feed some of that learning into it. Perhaps you give them a range
That
of...
was our original goal.
Yeah.
While we're running out of time, so just trying to...
think on your feet, and maybe give them some props, and they work out how they're going to set it up, and who's going to do what, and who's going to fight with what. But yay, great. This is bringing war to life, isn't it? Okay, making it much better than some, abstract thing. You're actually getting everybody to live it. You are totally investing in this idea of that kids won't engage with the war because they can't connect with it. You are getting that connection. You also then gave a real life popular cultures connection with Fortnite. So great, excellent. Okay, I've got written a few other things, but some really innovative thinking in your teaching, which is what we're asking for. You're embedding the knowledge rather than just telling and selling. And I think even with the mapping, I didn't see all of that, but it seemed like you had the map up there at this time, which was much better, okay? And you're actually getting them to manipulate where they think things will go. Is that correct? Am I understanding? Yeah, okay? So really, really good thinking in that. So I guess my number one thing for all of you for next week, okay, higher order thinking, is that creative application of knowledge. So how are you going to get the students to be really creative, but also how are you going to bring along everybody for the ride, because the pedagogical challenge is around differentiation. How do you allow for that differentiation, for that that everybody's going to buy in and connect to it, and cater for those students that aren't necessarily going to be able to retain all of the information or won't remember it. Some of you have built up that field of knowledge through some of the preparation you've done, and if you haven't done it as well as you should have, perhaps have some of that support material that the students can refer back to. Okay, okay, for the next session. If you want to stick around, I'm happy to go through the ins and outs of where we're going next week, but I probably think that the slides I can provide with you of all of that information, if you just look through it, it will give you the prompts that you need to be able to do your teaching for the next couple of weeks. For the next lesson. So would you like me just to send you that PowerPoint of what I was going to go through? Yeah, you'd be happy with that? Yep, okay. And then you can ask me questions. Even if you want to feedback some questions via email, and then I can send out some email responses to our whole class. How does that sound? Does that work? So thank you for your patience today. Now, just setting up for next week so we're really sure, is that Yuan and Bandana are not going to present next week, but Hayley and Brayden are, and Hayley and Brayden are going to teach in your room for something, mix it up, something different. So what it might be a good idea to do is to send me some of the prior knowledge they're going to need, and I will flick it through to the whole class, but for you guys to have a look at before you come in next week, because you need a bit about photography and camera shots and things like that. Are we, any comments, questions that we've
Does
got?
that mean that us teaching next week, they're not going to be in our class?
They won't be in.
We're teaching them?
Well, are we only moving across just to teach and come back for
So they will be. It'll just balance. It'll just balance the numbers out. So we'll have 3 teachers. Will we have 3 teachers?
Are you guys here next week?
Are you actually going to be here with you? You'll be here next week. You may or may not. So hopefully you will. If not,
You were waiting for that.
yes, still will be here. This Sunday, next Sunday.
Next Sunday?
It's the 31st. 30th? Is that this Sunday? Yeah.
No, next Sunday.
No, it's next Sunday. Yes.
Sure, just one between the two of them.
You still all submitting it? Yeah, even though you're submitting the same thing. Yeah. Okay. So I put slides on the forum with a summary of got all that. On the forum. Go and have a look at the forum. And I'll resend the PowerPoint slides as well.
Thank you very much.
See ya.
Hey Chris, happy birthday, mate. Yes, his birthday. If you want to sing happy birthday, you can now.
I'm working at Arvo with
I know.
Brayden. So I can probably take
Can
you
we all
here
sing?
and take you back to
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.